Welcome to Beyond the Numbers. I'm Bev Wakefield, and this is the podcast where we take the stress out of business finance and break down the numbers in a way that actually makes sense. Today we're digging into a question I hear all the time. Can I afford to hire? Have you ever felt so swamped that you think, I just need another pair of hands, and hiring feels like the obvious next step? But here's the kicker. Going on gut feel alone can backfire massively. In this episode, we're breaking down the numbers you actually need to know before making that next hire so your team grows your business, not drains it. So picture this. You're stretched, your team's maxed, you're turning down work, or worse, saying yes and then losing sleep trying to figure out how to deliver it all. And your gut says, just hire someone. Now I get it, I've been there too. But here's the thing, hiring too early, you burn cash. Hiring too late, you burn out. The problem is most of us, especially early on, hire reactively. We feel busy, so we act. But emotions lie, and that busy feeling might not be a long-term thing. One hectic week doesn't mean you need a full-time salary on the books. Too often I see hires happen without a clear plan, without looking at the numbers, or even worse, because someone's cousin was looking for work and we just said yes. Now let me tell you about two real business owners. One waited far too long to hire. For months she said we're fine, then the staff started quitting, clients were frustrated, and she worked every weekend to stay afloat. The other, she hired too soon. She had a shiny new service idea, but there was no real demand yet. 6 months later, she's £60,000 down and has nothing to show for it. That hire didn't just cost her money, it cost her confidence. So, how do we know when it's the right time? Let's break this down simply. So what's your break-even salary? Say you're thinking about hiring at £40,000 per year. Now add on pension, national insurance, equipment, training, coffee, and suddenly that's more like £50,000 to £56,000 all in. So ask yourself, what's the value they'll actually bring? If each job nets you about £5,000 in profit, you'll need at least 10 to 12 jobs a year just to break even on that hire. So are you currently turning down 2 to 3 jobs a month that this person could help deliver? Then it might make sense. If not, you might be hiring too soon. But let's go a layer deeper and check what your revenue per employee is. So take your total annual revenue, let's say it's 1.8 million, and then divide it by your team size. For this example, let's take 10 staff. This means that on average, your revenue per employee is £180,000. If each team member is bringing in £180,000 and your industry average is more than £100,000, you might be running hot, and that's a sign it could be time to hire. But if you're sitting at £70,000 per employee and your competitors are around £130,000, hiring probably won't fix that. That's a productivity or pricing issue, not a headcount one. So don't just look at how busy you feel, look at what the numbers are telling you. The next area you need to look at is your forecasting. Ask yourself, can I still pay this person if a client leaves? If sales dip, or if a project gets delayed? You want the minimum of 3 to 6 months worth of their salary sitting in the bank, because let's be real, most hires take time to ramp up. On average, 6 months before they're profitable. So don't just look at this month, look 3, 6, even 12 months out, and then decide whether or not the business can afford it. Now let's talk about the gut instinct. I love gut feel, it's valuable. But here's my rule. Gut tells me where to look, but numbers tell me where to leap. You might feel overwhelmed, but is it a blip or a bottleneck? Ask yourself, can this work be delegated? Could it be automated? Could it even be outsourced? Or is there a real repeatable role here? And if you can't clearly say what the person will be doing week in, week out, then it's possibly not time yet. So to answer this question, can I afford this hire? It's a great thing to look at this 5-point hiring checklist. So number 1, is there recurring work? 2, do you know exactly what they'll do? 3, will they either bring in revenue or free you up to do so? 4, have you got 6 months of salary in the bank? And 5, have you already explored tech, freelancers, or process improvements? 5 yeses, go for it. If you're shaky on 2 or more, hold fire or consider a smaller step. So start small if you're unsure. If after completing that 5 checklist, you can start by dipping your toe in first. This could mean starting with a freelancer, trying a part-time role or a fixed-term contract, setting a 90-day probation period with clear targets, or hiring someone versatile who can pivot as you learn what the role really needs. Hiring is exciting, it's a sign of growth, but it's also one of the biggest investments you'll make. So yes, use your guts, but back it up with your bank account. Don't just hire to feel better, hire to grow better.